What's going on, everybody? This is Over the Ropes, and this is WrestleMania Review. What is going on? I am Tyler.
I am Cortland, man. The weekend has come and gone. WrestleMania 41 is behind us.
It is over. It is done. Another one in the books. Another one bites the dust.
Yep.
And
I feel like we have two very different nights to talk about here.
Two
Very different.
very interesting shows.
Yep.
You'll know when you click on this if it's a one or two videos. We're gonna kind of wing it, see where it goes. This is either gonna be your whole WrestleMania review or night one. And if it is night one, click on night two afterwards. But yeah, two very, very different shows. I feel like you can't talk about one without the other.
Right.
I'm gonna have some strong differing opinions than some people, I think. So I think the base thought is WrestleMania Night 1 was fine, but the main event saved it. And I feel like the main opinion of Night 2 is the card was awesome and the main event was lackluster. Is that how you're getting?
Yeah, I feel like it's two very opposite nights. A very whelming night one until the final two matches, which were electric, and then night two was great. Fell off the face of the earth at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, man, it is a cesspool right now.
I mean, when isn't it, though, you know?
Very great point, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm excited to chop it up with you.
Yeah, let's just jump into it. Like I said, we're going to maybe try to do one video because of the way our scheduling works. So we'll just talk about it as we go through the matches.
Yeah.
So, to start off, night one. First off, we get some Jelly Roll. I love me some Jelly Roll. Solid. Not the food, but the singer.
I love both.
I don't like anything jelly-filled.
Really?
Yeah, nothing jelly-filled. Don't get me wrong, I'll fuck up some PB&Js, but like jelly donuts, shit like that, no.
Oh, I love jelly donuts.
No, I'm good. Or like even like cream in them. If I'm gonna have a donut, I just want a regular donut.
Oh man, I'm a sucker.
I don't want to bite into it and have some shit squirting down my throat. You know, like it's not for me. Not for me. So then we get the first match: Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Match went 16 minutes and 30 seconds. What was your thoughts?
I think opening the show with, arguably your hottest, most over guy is great. I think that was them showing their hand that Jey was going to go over, because that's a great way to start things off. There's some things I love. There's some things I didn't love.
Yeah, we talked about it before, that, like, starting with Jey winning the title, which is what happened. Jey taps out Gunther with a rear naked choke, 16 minutes and 30 seconds in. That was the best way to start this show with the matches available.
There was some storytelling I enjoyed. I liked Jey kind of turning around and using Gunther's offense around and against him. But I just felt like I expected a little more animosity and fire out of Jey. I was pretty surprised that he remained as calm as he did. But I expected a little more like, dude, you just fucked up my brother, fire from him. The match was fine, but I don't love the end. Going back and watching it again, yeah, he did hit, a bunch of super kicks, a spear, and 3 Uso splashes before he choked him out. But it just seemed weird for Gunther to tap as quick as he did. And I think I would have preferred Gunther to just, pass out rather than tap 4 seconds in.
So I agree that I didn't like Gunther tapping out. Especially as fast as he did. I would have much rather him passed out, like you said. Or maybe just fight, something.
Yeah. A struggle there at the end would have been great.
I had an epiphany, though.
Okay.
And maybe this is my homerism. Maybe this is just I'm a diehard WWE guy. Frankly, I've probably made way too many excuses for them at times. So maybe it's a me thing. But this goes into the Cena Cody match. This goes into a couple matches, actually. I think, because one of the first things I said to you when that match was over was, I can't believe Jimmy didn't come out. One of the first things I said to you after the Cena and Cody match, I can't believe The Rock didn't come out.
Right.
I don't know if we talked about it or not, but there was a point in the Grande Ray Phoenix where I was like, man, no LWO, no American Made. We both had talked about at different points that Jade and Naomi getting involved in the women's triple threat match.
Right, yeah.
I think we have gotten a little too reliant, and they have gotten a little too reliant on overbooked car crash finishes.
Oh my god, like last year with Cody and Roman.
And
oh
it wasn't
my
the
god.
only match either.
Yep.
So I think they decided this year we're going to have a lot of more or less clean wins. We're going to pull them back.
Yep.
So that way, next time we have one, it means more.
It means more.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't want to make excuses for bad writing, because there was things I definitely didn't like. I didn't like Gunther tapping out the way he did and how fast he did. That's on them. That was a bad choice. But I do think they needed to back off of the overbooked pay-per-view finishes, because how many of these matches were you going, man, why didn't anybody come out? Where was Solo in the Jacob Fatu match? You know, where's Tama Tonga? Where's Big E? Where's, so I don't hate that in philosophy. I don't hate the idea of that, but it is hard to kind of, okay, so how did I feel about that? Because I was expecting this. You know what I'm saying? So
I think my biggest gripe was I just wish they had a little bit more of a struggle during the submission. That's it. And it's weird because that's exactly how Gunther and Ilya Dragunov ended. Mm-hmm. Super quick tap.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, the match wasn't short. It was the third 16. Longest match of the night. So the only two matches longer were the last two matches. So, it wasn't a short match, and it wasn't a bad match. But I do wish the ending was a little more oomph to it, you know? But I'm so happy for Jay.
Ecstatic.
Ecstatic for Jay. And
not sure his press conference after did him any favors, though. I'm very curious if there's going to be any fallout on that. It looked like our man might have had a few libations.
This wasn't as bad as him and Cody, so.
That was so funny, though.
This one was funny.
I thought the one with Cody was better, but
yeah, it was funny because you weren't expecting it. Brother. This one, it's like, oh shit, he's trashed again. So I don't know if I told you, but I ruined that finish for Tristan.
You did tell me that.
Did I tell you how?
No.
It's so because he didn't watch it live, so he came in right at the main event. And I was like, because it was like, how long until they bring up the rewatch? And I was like, I don't know, a couple hours, dude. And I'm not thinking. We finished watching it. I'm doing shit. I'm watching the post conference, and Jay's doing his thing. And I text him. I was like, dude, Jay is fucking toasted again at this press conference. And he was like, thanks for ruining the match. And I was like, oh shit. I didn't even think about that, dude. Oh man, my bad.
You goofed it.
Okay, so Jay wins. Jay's the world heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
What's next for Jay? What's next for Gunther? Let's do Gunther first. Let's do the loser first. Does Gunther get rematch, or does he go on to something else?
I hope he goes on to something else. I don't know if this is going to be the first thing, but something down the pike I want for Gunther. I think he's got to get back in a story with Kaiser.
Okay.
And I think we started a little dissension there, and I think they need to finish it. I think at some point Kaiser, like I want to see Kaiser win like the Intercontinental or U.S. title here at some point in the near future. And I would love to see a program with those two. Penta's another person I'd love to see go with Gunther.
So Triple H last year, I go mainly off of last year specifically to really gauge what's Triple H gonna do, because I feel like last year was the first full year of him knowing he didn't have to watch his back at all from like Vince and stuff, and he did this like Gunther and AJ will feud for a month. And then they'll move on to Gunther and Randy, then back to Gunther and AJ. You know, just two random people. So he'd kind of bounce back. I think he did that with Cody and Kevin Owens, where it was like Cody and Kevin, then it was Cody and AJ, then it was back to Cody and Kevin. And you know what I'm saying? I would rather do Jay and Gunther again and get out of the way. That was the one thing from the Vince Triple H era that I actually like better with the Vince era is if you're going to give us the storyline, give us the win, give us the rematch, go on to something else. Rather than having like a weird 1 month feud, then back to this one that we thought we moved on from. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like,
okay.
Because it did feel like last year that stuff got dragged out because we kept coming back to it. Because they never just fully pulled that cord on, all right, next thing available. You know what I'm saying? So give us Jay Gunther. Frankly, if it was me, I'd put Seth in there. Make it triple threat at Backlash. Okay. You know? Even if Jay sneaks out the win on that one, then he moves on to Seth one-on-one or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would like to see Jay and Gunther, at least for now, finish their feud. And then have another match down the line where Gunther gets that win. But you know what I'm saying?
For me, it's hard to imagine Gunther losing again. That's why I'm not sure I want it to happen again. Triple threat's a good way out of that.
I was going to say, he doesn't need to get pinned.
I don't know if I need to see these two one-on-one again.
Right. No, that's fair.
Gunther doesn't lose a lot.
So what would you do with Jay?
That one's tough. Man, it's hard for me too without the rosters because I always feel like I'm just forgetting about people. I think Braun Breaker's probably pretty due for
interesting
a match. Not to say that he's going to win it. I think we get Jay and Drew really soon.
They're in different shows.
That's it. Bro, man, I can't keep up with who is where.
On SmackDown.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
You remember
my bad.
He moved in the window.
Yeah, he ran like hell. Yeah.
Hell yeah, he did. I mean, here's the thing. You would think it's Seth, but you got Punk and Roman Seth's dealing with now, you know?
Yep.
Finn hasn't won a match in how long? AJ? Logan Paul, maybe?
Logan Paul. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean...
He's great. I'm just like,
Ray's
oh, man.
Hurt.
Yep.
Like, yeah, so it's really rematch with Gunther or Seth, I feel like. Because no matter when they do the draft, it's probably not going to be until after Backlash, or at least like right before, even, you know. So
yeah, maybe returning Sammy.
Maybe returning Sammy, yeah, but Cross maybe. Like,
brother, I know that wasn't a WrestleMania match, but I hope we have time to talk about Cross.
We'll talk about him in the AJ match. But yeah, so I to me, it just makes sense. Get Jay and Gunther out of the way. Get the draft in. Start figure out where you're going. You know what I'm saying? But either way, solid, decent match. Next, we have the New Day wrestling the defeating the War Raiders by pinfall for the World Tag Team Championships. 9 minutes and 15 seconds. What did you think about this one?
It was what it was. This didn't do a ton for me. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this match. Congrats to the New Day. 12th 12-time tag champions now. It seemed it was pretty obvious they were going to get him off the War Raiders. I feel like at some point I would like to see these titles on American Made.
Yeah.
I think that's ultimately the move.
If they
I want Big E to get involved with these guys here at some point. I don't know if and when it's going to happen. That tag division on Raw is a little thin. I really, really, really like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Maybe there's a match there.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot on that tag division. At all. Maybe LWO.
I mean, here's the thing. I think while they're getting the draft ready and things of that nature, I definitely think Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate's a good little rivalry there. Keep working in the War Raiders. I would say the biggest issue about this match was, again, talking about the ending. It was such an abrupt...
So sudden
pinfall, and then they just got out of there and, like, literally sprinted
ran like hell.
Ramp. Which I like, because it shows, like, we need to get the hell out of here because they're going to beat the shit out of us. But the ending...
Was it Kofi who's holding the leg?
Kofi was holding Ivar's leg. And, but yeah, it was just so abrupt and so quick, and it was so weird. I don't have any hope when it comes to Big E. If they were going to do something Big E, this would have been the night. Regardless, if it was to screw them, to help them, I'm leaning more towards ever that he's done. And I think if he's not wrestling, he doesn't want to be anywhere near the ring. So,
totally fair.
Yeah, I mean, tag team division, like you said, it's pretty thin. Here's the thing. If Dom was pushing new members of Judgment Day when they kick Finn out, I'm sure they're going to bring up some people to Judgment Day. Maybe from NXT if Dom's the leader. Who else is he going to... Who's on the main roster is going to listen to fucking Dom? You know what I'm saying? So, like, it'll probably be, like, people coming up from NXT or something. Once JD's healthy, him and Finn might reform their team. Yeah, they don't really have a lot of strong... You know what I was thinking?
What's up?
If they want to keep Penta a singles wrestler, we saw it a little bit on SmackDown about them putting Rey Fenix and Dragon Lee as a team.
Okay, yeah.
That would be pretty decent, you know? They're both young, talented. Let them build a team, get a title reign. Eventually one, inevitably turns on the other, and kind of let it build from there. So, but yeah, who knows? I think the tag team division on SmackDown right now is much better than Raw. Raw's very heel heavy.
Lots
of heel teams, very little face teams. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from there. Next, Jade defeats Naomi by pinfall in 9 minutes and 20 seconds, 5 seconds longer than the New Day match.
Yeah, super close, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Jade looked fantastic. She's a monster.
I can't believe people still talk like she can't wrestle.
I think that's a little tired. That's such a tired take, very lazy take. I think she's great.
And Naomi's doing the best work of her career.
Naomi as a heel is great.
I was just saying, let's ask the number one I'm sick of Naomi hater over here. How you feeling?
I was sick of Naomi with Bianca. It was specifically their dynamic was insufferable, and that's because specifically Bianca is getting really old to me. So I'm glad that her character's changing too. No, I think Naomi is absolutely killing this character.
Yeah.
I think it's a little tougher for me to figure out where she goes next. I hope for Naomi, this is a Bianca thing. You know, I want those two. And I can't stop thinking about Jade versus Charlotte now. My lord. They've had a couple of face-offs. I'm excited for that. I think Jade might be someone we look at when it comes Money in the Bank time. I I think Jade's going to be chasing singles gold here sooner than later.
See, I think if they're smart, Jade wins the Rumble because she was out for so long last year. Let her work a full year, get it under her belt, learn what she needs to learn. Let her win that Rumble. You know what I'm saying? Because I do see. I think we're gonna sit down within these next few weeks and do a way too early WrestleMania 42. Not prediction show, but like match card prediction.
Okay.
And right now, my eyes Jade and Charlotte at Mania. So
that could be fantastic.
You need to build Jade up to that spot by the Rumble next year. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I do agree that Naomi versus Bianca is probably the way to go. Well, is it? Because if I think you're eyeing, as I am, Bianca and Rhea for next year's WrestleMania. Who's
SummerSlam or Mania, yeah.
Who's the heel in that? Who's getting booed? It's Bianca.
Yep.
So is it Naomi? Because if Bianca starts feuding with Naomi, she's going to be the face. You don't want to start turning her good if she's going to be going up against Rhea at the end game. You know,
okay, that's good.
Triple H is hammered year-long builds. So is it Jade and Bianca feuding for this year? And then they both branch off to Rhea and Charlotte for Mania next year. And Naomi and Tiffany.
Okay.
You know?
Yep.
You don't need to come off a win to get a title match. We all know that. They'll probably do like a number one contenders match or something, you know? Something like that. Like, maybe, who knows? But not the character that Naomi has. Frankly, if I was them, I know I just said triple threat, Jay Gunther and Seth maybe. Maybe you do Bianca triple threat. I know she just had one. But now she gets yanked into this. You don't really know where she is. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the problem with all of these. It's so much talent.
Rhea's on Raw, right? So now that Mania is over, everyone can go back to their own shows.
Correct.
I think you got to keep Rhea and Bianca apart for
Bianca's a SmackDown, Rhea and Io's on Raw. So
right,
yeah,
and so being Naomi and Jade, Jade are all on SmackDown.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that needs to be
wrap her up in that. Maybe all three of them just wrestle each other for a couple of months. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I mean that's the one thing is so far out of these three matches, Jade and Naomi easily the best match. And we have some nitpicks about or dislikes about the finish with the Jay Gunther, New Day War Raiders. Definitely some other matches tonight too. But you coming out of this WrestleMania, you have just a plethora of options and storylines to go. You know what I'm saying?
There's so many open roads.
So many. Then we have Jacob Fatu defeating LA Knight. Yeah! For the United States title. 10 minutes and 40 seconds.
This was a strong match.
This was a strong match.
Yep, I thought this, out of the undercard, was the best match.
Yeah.
LA looked good as always. But man, Jacob Fatu was just a killing machine. And it was interesting to hear how behind him the crowd was.
Yeah.
Man, that crowd was behind Fatu.
Mm-hmm.
That dude is just going to go on a killing spree now.
Yeah.
He's going to run through everyone.
One of the things I loved about this was let us show you what the future of this company is. I mean, I know LA Knight is old as shit compared to people in his current generation of this roster. Because he's like 40-something. He's in his 40s.
LA Knight
yeah.
is, I believe, like 43.
Yeah,
42.
I was just say, I think he 42.
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, Penta's 40, so he's a little older than I thought he was. And Jacob's, frankly, not young. But, because, I mean, he has like 8 kids or something.
Jacob is my age almost exactly. He just turned 33 a couple days ago.
Is he? I thought he was older than that. This dude has like
Yep.
8 kids, I thought.
6 or 7, yeah.
Jesus. My dude busy. Anyways. But,
Simone's B.
You know, Jacob, LA Knight, Penta, Braun Breaker, Dom, you know, like it or love it, Logan Paul. Like, these are the next generation of main eventers. And this was really... Let me try to get the memory bank here. Go ahead and talk for a second. Let me think about something.
Yeah. So great match here. I want to see Fatu just go on an absolute killing spree on SmackDown. Just kind of looking at the list of the guys on SmackDown. He can run through Carmelo Hayes. Let's see who else we've got on here. Jimmy Uso, maybe. That would actually be fun. A little Jimmy versus Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe The Miz. They haven't really gotten into him and Randy. I think at some point that can be a thing. But I want to see this guy go on a killing streak. I can see this being a Dean Ambrose-esque, very long title reign, and it should be. And it should mean a lot when someone does finally beat him.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard looking at this roster to figure out who it's going to be.
Right.
I'm also very, curious if we get back into any Bloodline story here now that Mania is over. Very interesting to see what direction that goes. As for LA,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just super curious what happens with LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's fun about this next week is we kind of just. It's wide open. Everyone goes their own ways, does their own stories. I'm very excited for a roster shakeup.
Yeah.
I feel like we just did one, but I just already feel like we're due for another.
Okay, so I guess there really isn't one. I was trying to think back and look back at Manias to see, like, 2 young guys wrestle at Mania that was, like, a prelude to them later on, and I couldn't really find one. But... yeah, Jacob should destroy everybody. I mean, the great thing about LA Knight is he doesn't need to necessarily go anywhere. As in, like, he can have a couple pay-per-views off, and then when they have the right story, he's not going to lose any steam. LA Knight is... We joke about it all the time. He's Teflon,
Yep. He is?
He very much is.
And the crowd's always going to be behind him, even if it's just like a cheap pop. He's always going to be there for it, even if it's something backstage.
He's somebody I might eye for that Money in the Bank.
I feel like it's way too late, but maybe. I mean, that'd be cool.
Yeah, him, Logan, Braun Breaker,
Logan. Because I feel like Money in the Bank's made for heels.
It is, but faces have won it.
Logan just seems like custom made for Money in the Bank. He really does.
Yeah.
And it sucks, and it's going to be so annoying.
Yeah.
But I think that's the best call right now.
100% who my pick's going to be this year. Yeah, so no, it'll be good. It's interesting because obviously Fatu's a heel, so you think a face will probably take it off him. I wonder, depending on how the shakeup goes, maybe this is where Penta gets his first title.
Okay.
Maybe him and Fatu end up on the same show.
Maybe.
And then somewhere down the line, Penta versus Fatu.
So, one name that's really kind of resonating with me, he is injured right now, but I felt like they were really starting to push him, is Big Bronson Reed.
Okay. Whew. I thought you were about to say fucking Apollo again. I was about to say Cortland. Drop the damn Apollo thing.
No, I love Big Bronson Reed, man.
Bronson Reed.
And he was doing great before he got hurt. Great work.
And he got hurt helping Fatu's team.
I know.
Mm-hmm. That's not a bad pull. It's not a bad pull.
I think that's my pitch right now.
Yo. Next, we got El Grande Americano defeating Rey Fenix in 7 minutes and 55 seconds. Shortest match on the card, and it should have been.
As it should have been.
Yes. I said this to you while we were watching. I'm going to say it now for discussion piece. If I was Dragon Lee, I'd be pissed that Phoenix got this match. Yeah. He got screwed last year. Now, I think last year might have been an injury.
Didn't he get hurt? Yeah, I think he did.
Well, they said that on TV, but you never know if it's legit or not. But he got screwed out of his tag match, and Andrade got put in. And then he got screwed out of his heel turn because they had Carlito turn instead.
Yep.
And now, when he really should have been the person, Rey Fenix gets put in.
And like his third match, fourth match?
Right. Not even match, week. Like, you know? The one thing that I'd say, okay, is if they're going to turn him heel now. Be it Rey makes another decision that makes somebody else turn heel on him. Because if you remember, Santos turned heel because Rey kept picking people over him. Carlito turned heel because Rey picked Andrade over him. Okay. Now, if Dragon Lee turns because he picked Rey Fenix over him. You know? Like, and then this is a running story with Rey. You keep making bad choices. You're at the end of your career. And the reason people keep leaving you is because of your choices. That's an interesting story. They could turn something into that. But if you Dragon Lee just...
I like that.
Thank you. And let's remember, depending on contracts, Big Brother, Roosh, is in AAA.
Yep. Oof, what a killer.
So, imagine if we could get Roosh and Dragon Lee versus the Lucha Brothers. Like, ooh.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Damn.
Yeah. So this match was really good. Rey Fenix is an excellent wrestler. Chad Gable is an interesting wrestler, a really good wrestler.
Yep.
They did the metal in the head spot. Grande wins.
He's stuck it under the mask again.
Yeah. According to Sean Ross Sapp, they did the exact same finish they were going to do with Rey. This was already planned out. There was a reason. I don't hate it. I'm a little like, man, Phoenix already lost his first match. It took Penta a long while to get pinned. I mean, he lost the Rumble, but, it took Penta a long while to get pinned. Now, granted, he took a metal piece to the dome, but I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure he'll be good.
Oh, he'll be totally fine.
Yeah.
What I was hoping for was, maybe Grande gets over, but the good guy goes over, and they were going to unmask him.
Demask him, yeah.
I was just a little disappointed that wasn't the finish. They just had Gable win, and that was it.
I guess we'll talk about it now. So during the pre-show, it was announced that WWE has bought AAA. Yep. I've seen some conflicting reports on if they're going to leave AAA its own thing. If they're going to rebrand it to NXT Mexico. That talk has at least been out there now. I hope they leave it AAA. You don't need to brand everything NXT, like NXT Mexico. No. Just leave it AAA. If they're working on buying Noah, leave it Noah. Even if it is NXT Japan or NXT Mexico, leave it named what it is. There's a little oomph there,
Mm-hmm.
So we had Vikingo at the press conference. He was the only AAA wrestler there. And then Vikingo was in the front row for this match. And,
He was.
and Americano started chirping him and got kicked right in the mouth. After the match, Vikingo helped Rey Fenix up, helped him go to the back. So I think the reason he didn't get unmasked is because we're going to get more of this. Now, what do you think that means for Vikingo? As in, do you think this is a prelude to him coming to WWE now? Now that they own his contract? Because, yes, you want to incorporate AAA stars, but to have him front row, have him get physical with Americano, have him get in the ring to help Phoenix up and to kind of have his back, that seems a little bit more than...
I'm just here.
Yeah.
I think we'll see him on WWE program quite a bit. I'm excited to see what this Worlds Collide looks like.
Right. Yeah.
But I think if anyone's going to get some cross promotion, it's got to be Vikingo.
So they showed on night 2, which I thought, but Worlds Collide is NXT in AAA. It's not the main roster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it said NXT on it, and it's happening the same weekend as
same day,
or the same day as Money in the Bank.
Yep.
So
okay. Yep.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, we looked at the roster. The only website I could find that had even a list had like 15 people. 12 of them used to be in WWE. And at least a couple WWE will not put back on their TV. One in particular.
Yep.
Their world champion.
Yep.
And I don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I think that's a super interesting development.
Yeah. But who knows?
We'll
see. So
crazier things have happened.
We got Tiffany Stratton, thank God, defending the WWE Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. 19 minutes, 5 seconds. The second longest match on this card.
Yep. I thought this for me is where the show ascended. And by the time, we got into this third, fourth, fifth match, I know we were talking when we watched, and we were like, well, maybe we've had a whelming, undercard because the main, these last two matches are really going to shine. And that was the exact case with this show. This was a brawl. This is arguably going to be the toughest match Tiffany will ever have. She definitely left with some bruises. She's got a knot on her forehead. Looked like she was missing a part of a tooth. This was a war. I was glad, this had what I was looking for in Jay and Gunther. Jay didn't look like someone whose brother just gotten the piss beaten out of him. This match had some real animosity. This was great. Charlotte puts on another WrestleMania classic, as she always does. But I was glad Tiffany went over. I do think that when Charlotte won the Rumble, I think the plan was for her to win this. And I think there was a pivot, but I think it was the right call.
I just had something hit me. Remind me if you can remember when we get to the women's tag match.
Okay.
That I just had an epiphany about Bayley. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so you're the one that pointed this out during the match, which was Charlotte looked like she was just sandbagging Tiffany every chance she could.
Yeah.
Dead weighting her. She looked like she's still throwing her damn Charlotte tantrums that she throws.
Yep.
Which was very disappointing because, get over it, dude. There's just a point where enough is enough. And she's already hit that point. So, the match was excellent. Like I said, this really was the match that felt like the show picked up. And it was like, okay, now this is WrestleMania. This is what we're here for. Tiffany looked like she got pummeled in this match. Like you said, she looked like she was missing a tooth.
Yep.
Cuts, bruises, welts. And frankly, that's what they needed. It's what for a match that didn't have a great build and a great story, we needed this physicality.
Yep. I forgot about the sandbagging.
Yeah.
That was brutal at the end, man. That Death Valley driver at the end, Charlotte, kind of a dick.
An asshole.
But I'm happy for Tiff. I'm curious where she goes after this, though.
Oh, they definitely have a rematch.
You think this goes for a little bit?
At least in one more pay-per-view, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a normal, usual thing, but Backlash is usually a lot of rematches, you know?
Yep.
And I see this being the case with a lot of these matches. Not all of them, but there's, we're not going to see Rey Fenix and Grande again. Probably won't see the New Day War Raiders again. We might not even see Jade and Naomi. Won't see Jacob and LA Knight, but we might see Jay and Gunther. We might see Tiffany and Charlotte.
I'm cool with that.
Might see two of the guys in this next match. You know what I'm saying? So, and frankly, if I was them, this wouldn't be a singles match. If you two have to beat the hell out of each other, then go out there and beat the hell out of each other. Make it a street fight. Make it I quit. Something.
Ooh.
Like, yeah. No, I feel like they're gonna feud for a little bit. Who was it? Oh, was it The Rock? I think it was The Rock. Did an interview. Maybe it was one of the press conferences where he said last year's Mania, they were ending a lot of things. And where he felt like this year's Mania was like starting.
The start of a lot of
stuff. Right. So, I wonder if Tiffany and Charlotte go for a little bit.
I really like the thought of an I Quit match between them.
Yeah, me too. And then we get the main event of the evening. Seth freaking Rollins defeats CM Punk and Roman Reigns by pinfall. 32 minutes, 55 seconds.
This match delivered in every way.
Every way.
This was awesome.
Yep.
There was a lot of great reversals, a lot of false finishes. We did notice throughout this show it didn't seem as false finish heavy as you normally get with WrestleMania.
Yep.
And I think that made this match mean all that much more. Great match. And that damn sleazeball Paul Heyman turned his back as we suspected he might. Tyler with an excellent callback while we watched this. There was a moment where CM Punk was on one side of the ring, but in the corner, Roman was in an adjacent corner. Paul Heyman grabs a chair. And Tyler's callback was once upon a time, he slid a chair halfway in between. And who did you say that was? Punk and Brock, or who was it?
Roman and Brock,
right.
Yeah.
This time, he hands it right to Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And Roman looks devastated. And I think Punk got a shot in with the chair.
Nope.
Right away, Heyman blows Punk.
Heyman gets in the ring.
Yep.
Punk gets up with the chair. Heyman's behind Punk, and he's telling him, "Do it, finish him, take him out."
Yep.
And then
the low blow.
And Roman's face of just pure thank God he didn't turn on me. Paul crawls over with the chair.
Hands it to him on a silver platter.
Presents it to his tribal chief.
Yep.
Presents it. And what does Roman do with that chair?
He wails Seth in the back.
Not Seth. He hits
Punk. Punk, yep.
Kapow!
Yep.
Yeah. And then what's Heyman do?
I think we got 2 shots to Punk.
Sorry.
And
then what's Heyman do?
And then that son of a bitch low blows Roman too.
Well, first he sees Seth getting up, and he tells Roman he's right there for you, my tribal chief. He says he's prime, ready for you. He says he's in shield position. That's what he said.
It was such a good callback. That's exactly what it looked like.
He said he's in shield position. Roman, oh my God. You could feel the euphoria. Just ready to get that demon out. And what's Paul Heyman do? Dick punch again. Dick punch number 2. And Seth didn't even turn around.
No, this was great. Seth's face.
Knew.
And he just took it in. And he held the hand out for the chair.
And chair shot to Roman. Stomp. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns gets pinned by Seth Rollins.
2 WrestleManias in a row. Roman Reigns gets pinned. Damn.
Yes.
Heyman's a hell of a baseball player.
Just
2 strikes, 4 balls.
2 strikes, 4 balls, baby.
This match was electric.
What a match.
I think probably the best match of the weekend.
Definitely one of, that is for sure.
An absolute banger.
And here's go ahead, finish.
I'm very excited for heel Seth. I'm so excited for this.
I hope they keep Heyman with him.
Yeah. I don't see why they wouldn't. But we'll see. We'll see tonight. Mm-hmm. Tonight's going to be awesome.
Tonight's going to be wild.
Well, after maybe, do you think they go long tonight? Do you think they go over 2.5?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. We've been talking a lot about next year's Mania. We said Charlotte, Jade, Bianca, Rhea. I'm sure Tiffany to be like mid-card title of some kind. Maybe tag with Mariah May. Maybe.
Oh, brother.
You have to do Seth Roman next year. 1-on-1.
You think so?
Between Seth being the sole reason Roman lost that time. It wasn't Cody. Cody got the belt. But it wasn't Cody who beat Roman. It was Seth who beat Roman. And then Seth and Paul doing this to Roman this year. It has to be Seth and Roman next year.
How long do you think Roman's off TV?
SummerSlam.
Again?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's crazy. Man.
I wonder if we see Punk before SummerSlam.
Think they both take a little hiatus?
Yeah, I do.
I think Punk sticks around. But I think Roman takes off. For a long time.
You know, Punk could win King of the Ring this year.
Good. I think that's who I had winning the video game, to be honest, was Punk.
If Punk does stay around, him and Seth finish their feud, then he goes on, wins King of the Ring. He does a thing with Cena.
Punk and Cena?
Yeah. SummerSlam. You know.
That's a monster match.
That's a monster match. What a match. Easily the best match of the night.
Yep.
Easily the best match of the night one. For me, personally, I say went triple threat. Tiffany Charlotte. Jacob LA Knight.
I agree.
Jay Gunther. No.
Jaden.
Naomi, Jay Gunther. Grande Phoenix. New Day. War Raiders.
I hate to say that, I completely agree.
Yeah. You know what? We're just going to make this one video. We're 49 minutes in. It's not going to be 3 hours like I was worried about. It'll probably be like an hour and a half. It'll be like 30 minutes longer, whatever.
Hit me with something before we go to night 2.
What's up?
Give me a letter grade for night 1.
Ooh. That's hard.
It's
hard because I felt what everyone else felt. It felt underwhelming. It felt... All the matches were good. There was no bad matches throughout this whole card. You cannot look at me and tell me there was a single bad match on this card. Not one. But the finishes to some of these matches were underwhelming. Or could have given us more. But I also understand, I think they had to take a step back a little bit with the way that they had been writing things.
Yep.
So... 7.
That's not a letter, but I'll take it.
Duh.
Do you want this or that? Yes. I get that as a bartender a lot.
B minus. B. B minus.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because the main
I was on
event
C plus B minus.
Main event, I don't think, because of the last 2 matches, I don't think you can put it below a B minus. If I wouldn't have had that epiphany about how they needed to take that step back, I probably would have said C minus or C plus B minus. But I feel like B minus is probably...
I could settle on B minus.
Yeah.
Our middle zone. All right.
Yep.
Let it rock.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Bartender. Are you one of those people that you feel like what people's normal drink is at a bar says a lot about them? I've heard...
Yes.
Okay.
I have learned a lot about... I could go on a hell of a rant right now about that. I have learned a lot.
Uh-huh.
And it took me a couple of years
Uh-huh.
to put some, statistics together, but I've just noticed the darndest things about people who drink certain types of beer and how you get treated a certain way.
So if I told you my bar drink, I want you to tell me, if you didn't know me, what you would think of me. Okay.
I only serve beer, though, so if it's liquor related, I don't have anything for you.
What do you mean you only serve beer?
We only serve beer. It's a brewery. I don't serve liquor.
Okay.
At least in the building I work
if I tell you my favorite beer.
Okay.
Now, obviously, I don't know if you only have certain beers or not, but I will tell you easily what my favorite beer is. Easily. There's this and then step down.
Okay.
All right? My favorite all-time beer, Yuenglings.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They probably... West Virginia's a lot closer to Pennsylvania than I think about a lot. Isn't that the next state south?
No, we're closer than West Virginia is. Because it's Virginia, it's Maryland, and then it's Pennsylvania and New York. So it's about the same.
But they had that down there?
Yes. Yeah. Frankly, I see Yuenglings down there more than I do up here.
Yeah, we don't get it up here.
Yeah. But that is easily my favorite beer.
You know what's funny about that? That's kind of like a classic... Like, a wrestler would drink that? LA Knight. That is like kind of an older dude who's set in his ways that doesn't want to try newer beer.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that is like a very specific drinker as a Yuengling drinker. They don't want anything else that color. They just want Yuengling.
Yeah.
And it tends to be a very, very stubborn drinker.
One of my closest friends in West Virginia is kind of like a alcohol snob, like real alcohol. So I love it, but yeah. He has a lot of opinions. He's somebody that knows, everything. Give me this microbrew. Give me this. Give me, Anyway, so he told me one day, he goes, I want you to try this Yuengling. He goes, I think you'll like it. What the fuck is that? He goes, just trust me. I almost never touch any other beer now. Yeah.
Interesting.
I will. If I go somewhere and they have Bud Light, I'll drink Bud Light. But if I have my choice and Yuengling's available, every single time. 100%.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Now, my liquor if I'm at a bar. Now I know you don't serve it.
Yep.
Which is funny that was your opinion, because the liquor isn't going to help to dissuade that. My go-to liquor drink, also from my buddy, who got me into this, gin and tonic. Love me a gin and tonic.
All my best friends, now that I'm in my 30s, are gin and tonic drinkers.
Some gin and tonic.
I just learned to like it last year. Took me a long time.
I used to drink a lot of vodka when I was partying, and
me too.
Lots of clear liquor. Yeah.
Yep.
I drank. I think we probably all did, but I drank way too much Four Loko at one point.
Never got into it.
No? Oh, dude.
No.
I
saw what it was doing to kids. There was this kid who had to get his stomach pumped a couple times in college, and I was all set.
The watermelon Four Loko. Oh, dude, I would have like daily. Yeah.
That's
all right. So night 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
Like we said in the beginning of the show, exact opposite. Great card, weak finish. So we get right into it. Io Sky defeats Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. Thank God. And triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. 14 minutes and 25 seconds. The third longest match on the card. Just like night 1. The first match is the third longest match on the card.
Interesting note.
Yeah.
Yep. Good call.
Best match of the night?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
What a finish to this match.
This match was really, really great, but man, that finish was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great reaction from the both of us watching this one. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Really fun ending.
And you called it, I think was it Bianca hit a move and she was pinning Rhea, and you said, give me the moonsault, and sure shit, moonsault.
She dropped in.
1, 2, 3. What a match. I love that Io and Seth got these wins. We've been talking about that for weeks, of how no two people needed the wins more than Seth Rollins
needed it so bad.
And Io Sky.
And they both remain undefeated in triple threats.
Was Seth undefeated?
Seth and Io. Dad, that's what the graphic said,
I saw the Io one, I missed the Seth one.
His might have been specifically at Mania. But he was like 3-0 or something at Mania Triple Threats.
Did he win that one? I thought Finn... That was the one Mania that Finn won.
I'll take a look back when you're talking.
Yeah, but yeah, this match was excellent. Like we've been talking about for weeks.
I think that was roughly 34.
Something like that. Io and Seth desperately needed these wins, and they got it. I think we go into Io and Rhea. Bianca goes back to SmackDown, and we get Io and Rhea a little bit. Maybe Io, Rhea, and Liv. Apparently, I'm obsessed with triple threats right now. But I mean,
you really are.
But like, really, Liv has just as much of an argument. She beat Io to get into the chamber. She just beat Rhea, or her and Rhea have been going back and forth with these titles. So like, Liv kind of has a little bit of a argument.
You think so?
Yeah, she beat Io to get into the chamber, and then Io's just gifted a title match. Like, the hell is that? You know, like, so kind of.
All right.
And like we talked about earlier, Bianca goes back to Jade and Naomi. And, I mean, I don't know, man. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be Rhea, Io, Liv, be kind of the big kind of what's going to happen from here.
I'm excited for some. Give me Alexa. I need Alexa on TV, and I want her mixed up into some of this.
Oh, she's in SmackDown.
Is she?
Yep. And she, with all accounts, she's going to be with the Wyatt Six. So, now that Bo thankfully is healthy, so.
Dude, I cannot find this match.
Yeah. It was Seth, Finn, and Miz. I know that. So then we get the Sin City Street Fight. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. 13 minutes, 55 seconds. What a damn match.
Yeah, man, this was a war. These guys... Yeah, oof. This was a war.
Tables. The stairs were used.
Yeah. What was the table spot here in this one? It was awesome. Was it old school? And Drew pushed
Yes.
Priest off. That was super cool.
Yep.
I feel like Drew was very overdue for a big win.
He needed this win. Yep. And
yeah, he was another that really needed it.
One of those things where I think Drew's staying on SmackDown because I think Jay and Cena switching shows.
Okay.
So it might end up being Jay and Drew.
Okay. It seems like it, because wasn't Cena only appearing on Raw, even though Cody's a SmackDown guy?
Yeah, up until the Friday before. And he already said he was going to be on the show tonight.
Okay, yep.
So...
Not a bad call.
Yeah. So I think that they end up... So it could be Jay and Drew. Or Jay and Seth, obviously. So... But I think he loses the title to one of those two guys.
Yeah, I really like the idea of... I want Drew and Jay. Big time.
Honestly, I think Damian Priest ends up Jacob Fatu fodder. Maybe not right away, but I don't see what else you do with Damian Priest.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's someone that can take a little bit of time off. We'll see.
I know people disagree with me, but I feel strongly that, especially with them having limited matches on pay-per-views, that they would benefit so much by going back to brand-exclusive pay-per-views.
Oh, I'm a dumbass. Yes! Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. Because, boy, like, if you're only going to have 5 matches, then besides the main, 5, just brand exclusives. I like the brand exclusives back in the day.
Yep.
It got people on pay-per-view that wouldn't get a chance either way. How many times did we see Rhino or Tajiri on a pay-per-view that we would never have seen? You know, the rivalry between Chavo and Eddie would never have been on pay-per-view if they weren't
SmackDown exclusive.
Right. Even Ray and Eddie, I don't think the start of their feud would have been much, you know?
Yeah, maybe that can help some people out, like American Made.
Yeah, and then
you Dakota Kai's.
You could do a story like Damian Priest and Shinsuke, where it ends up on pay-per-view, you know? So I think they would benefit incredibly with brand exclusive pay-per-views.
Otherwise, it's just going to be Charlotte and Tiffany and Cody on every single one over and over. Yep.
Yeah. Drew. Becky. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. Cena. So, yeah, it's going to be the same few people over and over and over. Because that's what we got last year.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, I don't know. I can't think of anyone for Priest right now.
No. Like I said, he's going to be fodder for Jacob.
I'm cool with that.
Me too. Me too. Yeah. But yeah.
I finally found the Seth match. Should have trusted my gut. It was 34. There was just so many matches. cruiserweight by it.
Seth win it.
You know, I was so focused on finding it, I didn't even notice that part.
All this damn time distracted.
I couldn't figure out what I was looking for.
Doesn't even get the answer.
Yeah, he won. He pinned the Miz.
Now, don't go looking for this, because we don't need you distracted anymore. But, man, I wonder what match Finn won at Mania. I don't remember. Because he only has one win. So, I thought it was that one. So, but...
I'll figure it out.
No, you're not. So, after that, we got the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship. The winner and the new Intercontinental Champion, Dirty Dominic Mysterio by pinning Finn Balor.
This was a ton of fun.
What a match.
Really, really exciting match. I feel like it moved really well for 10 minutes. Everyone got their shit in, but my God, that finish was awesome.
Yeah, 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Second best match on the card.
I would agree.
If the women's triple threat's the first, this is the second. Frankly, Drew and Priest was probably third. So, best three matches of the card. 1, 2, 3. A little bit of a different order, but still. Boy. Everybody just throwing out their best work in this match. Penta, Finn, Breaker, just killing everybody. Dom getting the dirty hits in when Dom had the availability. Finn hits the coup de grace on Braun Breaker. Goes for a pin. Dom hits the frog splash. Pins Finn. 1, 2, 3. And Finn is going to kill that boy tonight.
Oh my God, I cannot wait for this.
And if Finn doesn't kill him, Braun's going to kill him.
Yep.
So
I think it'd be good for Braun to get into the world title picture. I think he's deserving. I want to see him in like a blood feud or like a good feud for a minute and then maybe head for the title.
Yeah.
Very excited to see the dynamic of the Judgment Day. Mm-hmm. Who's the leader? Who gets split off? Are they babyface? Are they heel? I know we talked about this a lot last night. Talked a little with your cousin about it this morning. Very intrigued to see what direction this team goes. I feel like the one thing that, like, okay, so organically, Dom got a ton of cheers last night.
Yeah.
That crowd was ecstatic.
Yep.
And I think this was totally unplanned, but he ended up running back into the ring with the title by Finn, which was so funny. Great and that crowd lost it.
Yeah.
And then they had him on the post-show with, who's the bald guy? Big E, the bald guy. And then is it Jackie that did the push? I don't know. But he was great in that, and the crowd ate it up.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you got to roll with it with Dom, but I feel like Finn has to be the heel.
It's such a weird dynamic because Dom got cheers that night. I don't know if they continue. Finn coming out of this is hard to root for, but nobody's going to cheer for Dom with Liv with him. Because nobody wants to cheer for Liv right now. Even the people like me who's a Liv fan, you're not cheering for Liv. She sucks. Like, she's a terrible human being. Dom's not much better. So, it's gonna... This might be the one time that I can think of that Finn gets booted, but neither one of them are good guys coming out.
Okay.
They're just two heels that hate each other, you know?
Okay. Cool,
maybe they do, like, a weird... Like, maybe one of them gets shipped to a different show, but Finn's like, I'll show them, and makes his own group with JD.
I was just going to say he needs his own group with JD.
Yeah.
The Irish Aces. It's already done.
You know, we talked about a team for Drew, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. But what if Finn and JD bring up Gallus?
Could do that.
Now, obviously, they're not from Ireland, but, you know, Europe area.
They're Scottish, I want to say.
I think all of them or Scottish. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it could be a UK thing.
Yeah.
I figured out who when Finn won. I was there. I was there. I remembered it while we were talking. He was the Demon at 35. It was the semi-main to Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda.
Who'd he beat?
Bobby Lashley.
Oh, yeah. That's why I couldn't remember.
Yeah, but it was like the one time I think the Demon won on the main roster. I feel like the Demon lost a couple. He lost to Edge and Roman.
I forgot to mention this. I heard this in the the post show. E said that's the first time the New Day's won at Mania.
Yeah, isn't that fucking crazy? As a tag team, they were 0-5.
Because Kofi's won, obviously, and I think E's won the singles
match.
Won,
yeah.
But, like, as a team, the first time they have ever won.
That is a very hard to believe stat.
Nuts. Crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, it was, I mean, best way to start this show. Boom, boom, boom. Best 3 matches of the night.
Yep.
And then we get the Randy Orton Open Challenge. Boy,
while this might not have been one of the best matches, this was arguably the most exciting part.
A lot of speculation.
Yep.
And boy, did we get...
say his name.
When you say his name, he appears. Randy Orton defeats Joe Hendry in a singles match, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. The shortest match on WrestleMania.
But that was fine. This was about the moment.
It was about the moment. It was about the reaction to Joe Hendry coming out. It was about his song. It was about him doing his Joe Hendry thing. I think Nick Aldis would have been better match-wise and story-wise. But I will never...
This was a moment.
I will never talk down to Joe Hendry anything. He deserves this. It was huge for him. It was huge for TNA. Now, granted, again, he lasted 3 minutes, but that was because he was too focused on doing his Joe Hendry thing and embracing the crowd rather than Randy. After the match, Orton picks him up, gives him the attaboy kid, hits another RKO, and then does the Joe Hendry spin and turn.
Oh my god, into his pose.
Oh, yeah.
That was hilarious. This was where I had to get off X for the day. The negative feedback on this was really starting to get to me.
Was there?
People are very, very upset and said that this was like the ultimate burial of TNA and of Joe Hendry, and that this is the worst thing they could have possibly done. And look, man, this was great. It was a lot of eyes on a very viral person. That song's going to do crazy numbers again today. People love Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry's going to be fine. To lose to Randy Orton is no one should be ashamed of that. Randy's an all-time great. This was about the moment. This is going to go viral. Randy's little turnaround is going to be viral, but that entrance, Joe Hendry's entrance, is going to be probably the #1 most watched entrance of this Mania.
Here's my thing. If you think wrestling Randy Orton at WrestleMania, even if he lost in 3 minutes, is a burial, you're an idiot. I don't care if you're watching this or not. You're a moron. If you are offended by me saying that, that should tell you something. And 2, you don't know what that word means, because that people use buried way too much. Just because you lose a match does not mean you are buried. And guess what? I know you have. I don't think you watched it today, but this goes out to your boy too. Your boy Dave LaGreca, who I love. But oh my god,
he's so pissed.
I already heard his rant. Dude, just because you want to live in Cody's jock straps does not mean that I heard it. Oh, everything they did last year's ruined because of this main event. Oh my God. Stop. Cody's going to be fine. Okay? Jesus. You want to know what buried is? We'll talk a little bit about... You know what? If we had a real editor, like somebody who knew what they were doing and really edited this stuff up right now, we would have something to pop up that said definition time. Because you're going to go to school a little bit. Burials. Let's see. Give me somebody who was actually buried in WWE. And no, it wasn't Dusty because he had fucking polka dots. I promise you that was not a burial.
Ooh, who's a good one?
Who's lost to Doink? Let's start there. That's a burial, alright? You lose to a killer clown on a wrestling show, that's a burial. And
I mean, this is a really old example.
Give it to me.
But when the Outsiders left for WWE, Triple H ate that dog shit, and Triple H got buried for a whole year.
Triple H got buried for a whole
year. In 1996 and 7, I want to say it was. Triple H got buried for a really, really long time.
100%.
Oh, I know I have a really good one from when we grew up. I feel like RVD got buried for a bit because he failed a drug test or something.
No, because he won the title and then got caught driving high and drunk off his ass. Yeah, so he got buried. You know what? Kind of deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
It happens, but, like, just because you lost a match doesn't mean you're buried. Just because a storyline didn't go your way does not mean that they were intentionally trying to make people look bad. Who lost to Hornswoggle? That's a bury. Chavo got buried, losing the Cruiserweight title to Hornswoggle. I'll give you that, all right? You know what? No, there you go. Perfect burial right there. Chavo Guerrero losing the ECW title in a minute and a half from Kane at WrestleMania. That is a burial.
That's a pretty good one.
Thank you. So if you're on these videos talking about Joe Hendry or TNA got buried, I will call you a moron every single time. And if too bad. Next, a burial of the fans. Logan Paul defeats AJ Styles in fucking 17 minutes and 50 seconds. The second longest match on this card. What the hell was this? Explain this to me.
I can't. I was still on such a high from Joe Hendry that I didn't really watch this match. I'm not going to lie. I just kept watching Joe Hendry come out.
How the hell did Logan Paul win this match? He stood tall on Raw. Last year at Mania, he beat Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Last year at WrestleMania, AJ lost to LA Knight. How? This damn match ruined my undefeated prediction streak. And maybe that's what I'm most pissed off about. But I don't care. Alright? This is ridiculous.
Logan's the next thing, man. He really is. He's going to win that Money in the Bank. He's going to be a champion really soon. AJ's time is come and gone. He's got to put people over at Mania. You know what surprised me, though? This didn't get mentioned just once. This got mentioned a lot. People said that this was AJ's last WrestleMania. And people said that like there was a certainty to it.
Well, AJ
that worried me a little bit.
Did say when he signed his contract that was going to be the last full-time contract he signed. So, I don't know.
This must be the last year.
Yeah. I don't necessarily know that means he's done. But I think it might be full-time. Here's the thing. We try to stay away from this because Michael Jordan famously said Republicans buy shoes too. So you don't wanna isolate a certain group of people. But I'm probably about to do that. The one thing I hope AJ doesn't do is I hope AJ's not dumb enough to, when his contract's up, go to AEW. because boy, would that be a mistake. There is some people that AEW has been very good for. Swerve, Athena,
Tony,
Mercedes, Tony, Storm, Jericho. So nobody else can put him on TV the way Tony Khan does. AJ will just be lumped in where Adam Cole is, right? You know what AJ would do? AJ would go there and win the Ring of Honor title. 1,000%. I didn't think it was possible to ruin Adam Copeland. But boy, did they figure out a way real quick.
The fact that they have some of my all-time favorite wrestlers, and it's still so bad that I won't watch it. I love Adam Cole. I love Hangman Page. I grew to love Edge.
It took them 3 weeks to have Bobby Lashley on Collision. Like, don't be that stupid. I know he's friends with the Bucks. I know he's really good friends with Kenny. I know he's like best friends with Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe. I know he has a thing with the Cole and all of them, but don't be smart. Uncle Al, be smarter, you know?
Alan.
Yeah, Uncle Alan. So in the match, one of Logan Paul's little bitch boys crawling around the ring like he always does with the brass knuckles. And before he can give them to Logan, beautiful camera work. You just see this huge forearm come into screen, and it's Karrion Kross. Grabs the brass knucks, shoos that guy out of there, and begs AJ, use the knucks. Please, use them. Take him out. And what does AJ do with the brass knucks?
He threw him at the steps.
Threw him at the steps. Away. And what happened? He lost. After taking out Kross, he lost. And boy, you talked about it earlier. What a fucking promo that he just gave.
When you're done watching this, you all need to go watch. And he calls himself Killer Kross, which I love.
Yep.
He cuts a hell of a promo, and I cannot wait to see what he does with AJ. I hope he gets pushed to the moon.
That would be
because it's about damn time. It's about damn time.
That would be a good Money in the Bank winner.
Yes, take all my money if that's the case.
It's gonna be Logan, but Kross would be a good one.
I'm here for it.
This match was too long.
It was.
I don't have a problem with Logan winning. I thought that the build was weird for Logan to win the way that this build went. He's now 3-1.
Very Logan heavy.
It's very Logan heavy. I didn't do anything good for AJ. It was probably, to me, the worst match of the night. And no, it wasn't just because it was the one match I got wrong. But it was... But again, it still wasn't a bad match. Because Logan Paul does not put on bad matches.
Nope.
So...
Bangers only.
I don't think we see Logan again until Money in the Bank. We see AJ get destroyed by Kross. So...
I think we'll see Logan sooner than you think. Someone asked him that in the press conference after.
I mean, Money in the Bank's in 2 months.
I think he'll stick around the whole time. Nah. And we'll find out.
I'm going to let you take this next one.
All right. So we get Liv and Raquel defending the Women's Tag Team Championships against Lyra and her mystery opponent, who was the man Becky Lynch, which was absolutely awesome.
Mystery partner. You said mystery opponent.
Oh, mystery partner.
And
my bad.
Becky and Lyra walk out the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Lyra 2 belts, baby.
Lyra 2 belt. First person since Bex, I believe. Maybe to have 2 belts at the same time.
Well, except for Cole.
Yeah. Well,
Stephanie.
Okay, touche. Tiffany had 2 belts?
Stephanie.
When?
Stephanie Vicor.
Oh, duh.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. They said on... Sorry, I thought you said Tiffany.
Main roster.
I feel like... Oh, is that what the graphic was? Okay, touche.
Yeah.
Couple points here. One, I'm supposed to remind you about Bayley.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm going to throw a couple things at you first.
Go ahead.
Great job on Becky. I said this when they watched it. She didn't dye her hair, which I feel like would have been a dead giveaway. She was coming back. So, like, props to her on that. Little subtleties like that I really appreciate. A lot of people were pissed about this match, too, and I don't understand. I'm so sick of people calling her Becky Hogan. It is not the same thing at all. She actually has a story with Liv Morgan and a relationship with Lyra. This actually made sense, you fucking mouth breathers. This was awesome. You cannot put her and Charlotte in the same class of being shoved down your throats because it is not the same thing at all. Not even close, so shut up. Okay? It is not the same thing at all.
I mean, if anybody's Hogan, it's Charlotte, first off.
Yes.
So, did you watch the post-press conference?
Hell yeah.
Did you see the question about Bayley to Triple H?
Yes, he said that. Did he say something about it's all business and she'll be fine and she is fine?
She'll be fine. She's a professional,
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. I mean, first off, Triple H, some of his... He needs to go to media training a little bit because, boy, he does not know how to answer some of these questions. But...
What do you mean?
How did Bayley start her career? Character-wise?
The hugger?
The hugger? The best friend? The fan who's happy to be there?
Yep.
Then what'd she do?
She went Karen and cut her hair and cut the wacky inflatable arm-waving tube man. And she turned heel.
And now she's kind of turning back a little bit on Lyra, right? She tried to walk out on her, stopped herself.
Yep.
Who else has she been feuding with besides Lyra?
Roxanne.
How did Roxanne start her career?
The same way.
And where's Roxanne at right now?
She's a heel.
Was Roxanne on Stand and Deliver?
Oh, no. Oh, pre-show. That's a good point.
What if
those stars align?
They put them as a team, and Roxanne starts learning under Bayley, and Bayley and Roxanne feud with Becky and Lyra.
Interesting. That's great.
Pissed about Lyra not having her back when Liv and Raquel jumped her, or whoever jumped her. And the reason we didn't get Bayley and Roxanne is because they're gonna team up. Because we've talked about this. What are you gonna do with Roxanne when she first comes up? She is tiny, and granted, Ray's tiny. Like, you figure it out, but she's so small, and like everybody up here are monsters compared to her. I mean, Lash is a monster compared to her. Fallon looks huge next to Roxanne. Boy, what if we get Bayley and Roxanne taking Roxanne under her wing? Or even somehow she gets Cora and Roxanne on the same page, and then she starts her own heel team.
Sorry, I got a time sensitive.
It's all good. And I thought about this because I wanted to say we were told this has been the plan for a while. So I was like, why do that to Bayley instead of continuing her story with Roxanne, as we were talking about at the beginning of night one. And then that just hit me out of nowhere.
I like that.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, it doesn't make up for missing Mania, but at least then it something comes out of it. You know
something crazy? 2 people who had enormous title wins on WrestleMania last year were not on this show at all.
Bayley.
Sammy and Bayley.
Sammy's title win was a mistake.
Oof.
Sammy should not have been the one to beat Gunther. I felt strongly about that at the time.
Sure.
So,
I saw this going a different way after, but I like your idea a lot.
What were you initially thinking?
I think Becky's going to turn heel on Lyra. I don't think they're champs for very long. I bet they have a match against like the Bella Twins or like some surprise opponent tonight. And I 100% see Becky turning on Lyra and going
tonight.
Back. Yep.
Wow.
And I know that you pointed out a good flaw in this thought, but I feel like generally they keep couples babyface together and heel together. And I can't remember who you threw at me, but you had a really good one.
Jimmy and Naomi.
Was that it? I thought you had an even better one.
No, that was the better one. The first one was Montez and Bianca.
But Bianca's turning.
Right.
They're kind of both in between. Right. But I think if Seth is going to be a piece of shit, Becky is too.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
They've had Triple H.
She's tough to turn.
They've had Triple H and Stephanie at different points being heel and face. You know. But, yeah, Becky's going to be hard to turn. They tried it before and it didn't work.
It did not work.
No. I mean, I thought about that last night while we were watching the show. I thought, oh, well, they could maybe turn Becky. But now that I've just had that epiphany, boy, I like my new epiphany more. Second shortest match of the night. Kind of surprising.
They were both about the reaction.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
First match back.
Yeah. And then we get the main event. John, Felix, Anthony Cena defeats...
Got my laptop now.
Defeats the Nepo baby, Cody Rhodes, in 21 minutes and 40 seconds. Wow, that's shorter than the triple threat match from night one. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
For the undisputed WWE Championship, John Cena, 17 reigns. And he said afterwards he's creating a new championship out of his legacy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm taking this one home. Y'all can make a different belt. This title is mine. The history is mine.
Loved this. I was trolling you last night.
Oh, big match.
Cortland had big time boo-boo face. He was ready to go to bed as soon as the show was over. I felt like everybody else did, which was lackluster finish, until I woke up this morning. And I've just seen the wrestling community collectively just being the biggest whiny bitches about this. And it all starts with King LaGreca. And boy, have I changed my opinion so hard. I love it. I love it. And I hope he beats Cody again and again to watch people collectively lose their minds. Because they already are after one win. And boy, nothing will get... Listen. As of now, and in the future, the plan is to build this channel into something that people want to see every single week. Multiple times a week. Oh shit, what is the guy's opinions on this? What's the guy's opinions on that? So I am telling you now, from the beginning of this show, because we only started in January, nothing is gonna get you guys to see heel Tyler, Michael Cole-esque, Cole minor Michael Cole, then you guys collectively losing your minds and being a little bitch about something. Because, boy, has the reaction to this match turned me from, well, that was underwhelming, to this is the greatest main event match in WrestleMania history. And I'm going to push this because of how pissed Everybody is. And boy, anybody that thought Cody needed to go heel because he wasn't going to be able to sustain what's happening, boy, were you wrong. Because all this does is going to make Cody 10 times more sympathy, 10 times a bigger star. When he takes that belt off Cena at the end of the year, people are
it's going to be so sweet.
Their damn minds. So,
and that's what I'm clinging to. I'm clinging to God. I can't wait till he wins it back. I'm fine with Cena winning. My biggest gripe. I have two things.
Okay.
I feel like there is still a major hole in this story about The Rock's involvement, and they've rarely brought it up, and he didn't appear, and I just feel like that's a big hole. And I'm really annoyed about the Travis Scott stuff. Like, his entrance was longer than Randy Orton's match, and that's not necessary at all.
He did milk it a little much, I will say that.
This dude is a fucking ass clown. Absolute jabroni. Slap nuts. I'm so over Travis Scott.
Interesting. I don't feel as strong. I agree that he milked the entrance too much. I don't really get on him for accidentally clocking Cody. It happens. Like, that's what happens when you have a rapper try to hit somebody. Like, he got him. It happens. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think Cody thinks it's that big of a deal. He did milk the entrance. But I
sick of this dude going to business for himself.
I expected Rock, and we didn't get it, so that was weird. But besides that, I loved it. I thought it was great because people lost their minds, and their people are having reactions. And I think you said this recently, but people talk about, like, oh, go home heat. That's what I say about go home heat, all right? There's no such thing. If you hate somebody so much that you don't want them on your screen, they're doing their job.
They're doing their job.
Right. So, I'm going to praise this main event over and over and over just to piss people off. Was it underwhelming? Yes. Did it feel a little abrupt and like, oh, that was it? Yes. But because of the collective bitchiness, I am all for it. Give us more. And I can't wait to see what Cena says tonight. Because, again, people are going to lose their fucking mind.
Yeah, count me in as well.
So that is WrestleMania. An hour and a half of us talking about night one and night two. Probably 1:45 by the time we're done with this. What's your letter grade for night two? B- for night one. What do we got for night two?
B+, A- territory.
I feel like A- also.
Yeah.
B-
there was
night one, A- for night two because actually maybe B+ because of Logan Paul winning, but either way,
that triple threat women's match was great. The Intercontinental title match was good stuff. We had some awesome moments, and at the end of the day, Cena made history. This is a fun rivalry, and it's a really great. Like, their promos and everything between them have been great. At the end of the day, specifically, what I didn't like was just a small part of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
This is a huge WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely better than some of the dog shit I've seen under different leadership, and it's better than anything you see in Jacksonville, so I'm cool with it.
Damn. Yeah. What... You know, there was definitely some...
10,000 people at All In are crying.
There's definitely some lackluster moments, some weird finishes, some underwhelming finishes. But I think overall the shows combined were very good. I would say a solid B+ show overall. I think that as we talked about it, I am more excited for what comes next than I was probably leaving the show last night. And man, we're just 4 hours away from Raw. So, little over.
Beat it to me.
So, we're going to eat dinner. We're going to breathe a little bit. Get this video up. And then we'll be right back watching Raw. After work tomorrow, be talking about Raw. Going right into NXT. So, it's going to be a good week. It's going to be a good week.
Let's go, baby.
Let's do it. All right, man. That's it for this WrestleMania season. New Year starts today. So
off season's over, bitches.
Off season is over. So let's give us a like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell. Let us
all that thumbs up.
Give us all the thumbs up. Comment. Tell us how much you hate my Cena opinion. How much you hate Logan Paul. Just give us all the comments, the likes. The more interaction we have, the more we're able to do. We'll see everybody tomorrow with our Monday Night Raw review. And everybody enjoy your wrestling, and we will talk soon. Peace.